This hour by Frederick Remington, fully cooked, ready-to-eat bacon. Exclusive, no refrigeration, 10-year extended shelf life bacon. The thickest, meatiest, center-cut bacon in the industry at fullycookedbacon.com.
The stocks discussed on Wall Street Raw are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. If considering on acting on information, we first recommend you seek out a competent, licensed professional for advice.
What kingdom has sent you?
The kingdom of the Most High.
Nothing you have ever experienced can prepare you for the unbridled carnage you're about to witness. The Super Bowl, the World Series, they don't know what pressure is. In this building, it's either kill or be killed. You make no friends in the pits and you take no prisoners. 1 minute, you're up $500,000 in soybeans, and the next, boom, your kids don't go to college and they've repossessed your Bentley. Are you with me?
The Genesis Communication Network is proud to bring you Wall Street Raw with nationally recognized market timer and previous Wall Street Week elf, Mark Leibovit, welcoming you on board his financial time machine. And here is the elf himself, Mark Leibovit.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It is Saturday, July 28th, and we welcome you to Wall Street Raw. Always a pleasure having you tune in, considering all the other options you may have on a Saturday morning. And we do our best here to try to cover the financial markets, and we do a little bit of, political commentary, and even a little bit on the religious side, as you can hear from some of the music on segment 3. So we cover the bases. I consider myself a conservative. One of the notes that we post in our newsletter every day is the expression, there is no freedom without the law, and I believe this for the last 50 years. In fact, I was questioned about it when I was in college many years ago, and you can see many of the liberal ideas which were entering the collegiate atmosphere way back then. As I'm talking back in the 1960s when they questioned when I said there was no freedom without the law. In other words, we got, unfortunately, those in this country who feel like they're above the law, or we can change the law, or the law is irrelevant. Meanwhile, one of my good, I wouldn't say good friends, but one of my radio show proteges, Michael Savage, wrote a book, Liberalism is a Mental Disorder, and he also talks about borders, language, and culture. So I'm very much a believer in those as well. Many of you may remember me from years ago on the old Louis Rukeyser television show as an elf, and others may remember me with Paul Kangas as a co-host on the Market Monitor segment on Nightly Business Report. So I've done the gamut there. I used to be a floor trader on the CBOE. And I've authored VRTrader.com, originally named the Volume Reversal Survey back in 1979. So I've been up and down the street here, been doing it for many years, and most of my friends and guests we have on the show have been around very much the same period of time. Meanwhile, I've launched a bunch of newsletters, and one of my favorites, and I think it's very relevant, is the Cannabis Vice Letter. I keep talking about that because I believe that medical marijuana has a big place in our society. And I was reading recently about Portugal. You may or may not be familiar with that, but they had a mess in the 1980s, and at its worst, 1 in 10 people in the country had a heroin problem, opioid addiction, and so forth. And it was really a genuine crisis. I'm very sympathetic to it because of my own family. I've experienced a relative who had such a crisis, and hoping that the marijuana may help that person as well. But in Portugal, it was a war on drugs. Up there wasn't stopping people from using, so they did something dramatic. They basically made the drugs legal. They basically said that the possession of all drugs, marijuana, even cocaine and heroin, you name it, was decriminalized, and no other country in the world has ever opted for such a drug policy. I don't know how fast it's going to happen here in the United States, probably a lot slower, but to the surprise of many, it really did work. And since 2001, Portugal's steep drop in drug overdoses, drug-related crimes, and HIV infections have declined. And so basically the society became a little healthier after they decriminalized it. I was also surprised to see very little drug use in the streets there from reports from those that I've read who've been there and who've observed it on a personal basis. So, really why I'm telling you this is because we have a major problem in this country. And, again, with my personal experience and with thousands of Americans have died from opioid overdoses. You watch television every night. It's really sickening, folks. Drug companies promoting drugs, telling you that this is a cure for this or this will benefit this or that. And meanwhile, in the next 50 seconds in the commercial, they tell you how it can be harmful to you and kill you. Marijuana, particularly the portion that makes you a little high, might, maybe have that kind of effect. So does some wine and alcohol too, folks, but it doesn't kill you. And the marijuana aspects here could be really, really beneficial. In fact, I know those in LA who are now using marijuana for opioid addicts and for heroin addicts. And we have a national tragedy here, and we really have to try to get serious about this. And I'm really hoping that Donald Trump, who, as you know, I'm a big supporter of, will decriminalize all drugs, as Portugal did, at least get marijuana into that category. So, the medical community agrees with me. A recent study published by JAMA, the internal medicine, found that where medical marijuana is legal, they've seen big drops in residents' opioid use. And the researchers that I'm reading here studied data from Medicare, which mostly covers people who are over the age of 65. There's also the CBD aspect of marijuana. Many of you may be familiar with that. That's the component that doesn't make you high. And there's nothing wrong getting a little high. Having a little THC in there, could be of great benefit. So, meanwhile, I'm a big proponent of it. We write and talk about it in our Cannabis Vice letter. You could profit from many of the companies that are involved in the medical research, as well as those that are just in the cannabis space, many in Canada. And speaking of Canada, as you do every week, we try to get our good friend Don VIALOUX on the line because not that he is a proponent of marijuana, but he follows many of the cannabis stocks, and we love having him on the show, cannabis or otherwise. Don, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me back, Mark.
Okay, we're going to get high talking about the stock market rather than on marijuana at the moment, okay?
Sounds good to me.
So Don publishes the equityclock.com and timingthemarket.ca blog, and it's terrific stuff, and we've been friends for many years, and I use a lot of his stuff in my newsletter. Don? Let's see what's happening. Basically, you were looking for strength in the market as second quarter earnings were coming out, and indeed that has happened.
It's been fascinating second quarter results for the S&P 500 companies. About half of them have been released so far. Next week is, of course, the busiest week for U.S. companies to report. Over about another 35% of S&P 500 companies will be reporting next week. So far, so good with those results. Over 80% of S&P 500 companies have reported higher than consensus second quarter earnings. Now, earnings on a year-over-year basis are expected to approach a gain of 25%. However, why is there always on however, it certainly is right now. Companies that report blowout earnings, like Google and Amazon, have done very well. But the problem is that a lot of companies also did something else. They gave guidance for the third quarter, and that's where the problem came in. Many stocks came under selling pressures just after they released their second quarter results, and a lot of sell-on news that happened, unless the earnings were blowouts.
Look what happened to Facebook, right?
Well, yeah, that's the most fascinating one of all. The poster child for stock price weakness for the second quarter result was Facebook. The company actually reported higher than expected earnings and revenues. However, they also gave negative guidance. The result was that the stock plunged 20%. That's a huge drop for one stock on one day. In fact, that's the largest drop for one day in history for market capitalization in one stock.
Yeah, we can tell it was way overpriced, right? Technically, let's talk more about this after the break. Don, stay with us, and we'll be back going over more with Don VIALOUX from EquityClock.com. Don't touch your dial.
You're listening to Wall Street Raw with Mark Leibovit. Go to wallstreetrawradio.com for information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S.? What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com. Or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
If you or anyone you love has been diagnosed with lung cancer, asbestosis, or mesothelioma, your diagnosis may be the result of job-related exposure to asbestos, and you may be entitled to compensation. Over $30 billion in trusts have been set aside for individuals who have been affected by asbestos exposure. How do you protect your rights and get the compensation you deserve? Call Capital Legal Group now at 800-400-LUNG. Capital Legal Group is one of the nation's resources for settlement of lung cancer and mesothelioma cases. Law firms have successfully recovered over $2.7 billion for their clients in all 50 states, and claims have been paid in as little as 60 days. If you or a family member were diagnosed with lung cancer, asbestosis, or mesothelioma, call Capital Legal Group now at 800-400-LUNG. We'll open a no-cost case review on your behalf. A history of tobacco use or cigarette smoking will not disqualify your case. Visit 800-400-LUNG.com or call 800-400-LUNG. Call 800-400-5864 now. That's 800-400-LUNG.
If you like alkaline water, or know someone that does, you're going to love the Dillon Living Water Bottle. It creates alkaline water on the go while reducing plastic waste and saving you money. Made with surgical-grade stainless steel, the Dillon bottle increases the pH up to 9 to deliver both alkaline and antioxidant water anywhere you want it. Alkaline water is healthier, tastes better, and can even boost energy. The Dillon bottle makes it easy and affordable to be healthy and achieve optimal hydration. Get your Dillon bottle today at dyln.co. That's dyln.co.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists, get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Long-distance travel or long hours in front of a computer can take its toll on your body.
Get relief for your neck or back pain when you search Amazon for Sunshine Pillows, heating wraps, and pads. Often listed as an Amazon choice. Why take another pill? Now, from Sunny Bay and by customer demand, we introduce our extra long neck heating wrap. A complete wrap, wide and hands-free, and brings fast relief to those who suffer from neck or back pain.
You can easily find Sunshine Pillows on Amazon.
Or search Amazon for our new Sunny Bay disposable heat pads. Or look for Sunny Bay heated neck wraps for relief from back pain to menstrual pain and cramps.
Sometimes life can be a pain in the neck, or back, or shoulder.
See why our company, Biomed DB Design, has a lifetime 100% positive rating on both Amazon and Etsy. Just go to Amazon.com and search Sunny Bay. Or call us 253-678-1361.
Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest priced filtration systems in every size for incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency. Get to GoBerkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com.
Never show any sign of weakness. Always go for the throat. Buy low, sell high. Fear, that's the other guy's problem.
Welcome back to the Wall Street Raw Radio Show with Mark Leibovit, your time machine for the financial markets. Want to know more? Go to wallstreetrawradio.com. Now, here's the elf himself, Mark Leibovit.
Welcome back. Welcome back to Wall Street Raw on this Saturday, the 28th of July. We've a good friend Don Viola with us, and we're picking up from the last segment. Don, we were talking about Facebook, and I was going to mention to you, technically, Stock had a huge run-up, as we both know, but there were some unfilled gaps there below the market in the 160s and 170s. Maybe this correction is part and parcel to a technical event as well. What do you think?
Well, it's fascinating because Facebook is one of these FANG stocks. Now, just to mention what the FANG stocks are, there's Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Google. I guess you can call that alphabet if you wish. Mm-hmm. Now, these 5 stocks represent approximately half of the capitalization of the S&P 500. The remaining 495 stocks are the remaining capitalization for the S&P 500. So these 5 stocks are what driving the market, one way or the other. Now, we're starting to get some really sharp moves in these FANG stocks, and that's causing greater volatility in markets, and that's what we can expect to see in markets between now and approximately the middle of October. We're now into a period of seasonal weakness for U.S. equity markets, mainly caused by greater volatility, and looks like that's what's going to happen once again this year. And,
we're running into that, as you said, the seasonal period at this time of year, but the Canadian market index has been struggling a little bit here. And usually we have some strength, I thought, in the metals between this time summer into the fall. But from what you're writing, the Canadian index could suffer a little bit more for negative seasonal influences there. Enlighten me a little bit.
Yes, we saw the Canadian TSX Composite Index reach a peak about 2 weeks ago, and it's been struggling ever since. Similar reasons. We're now into the report season for many major Canadian companies, and so far the earnings have been very good, but investors have been selling on the news. The index also is influenced by seasonality and by volatility. Historically, the Canadian equity market has gone flat to slightly lower between the middle of July and the middle of October.
And what about the gold market? We keep talking about that. Aren't we entering a seasonal time frame? The darn thing keeps struggling here.
Yeah, it's been a disappointment so far. Gold prices have continued to move slightly lower, and gold stocks also have been slightly softer. Historically, gold and gold stocks have bottomed right around now and moved higher right through until approximately the end of September. Hasn't happened yet, but stay tuned. Pretty good chance that it will happen within the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'm watching those charts very carefully because I know we're in that seasonal time frame. As soon as I guess we start to see some upside volume come in, we can jump on board. Don, thank you so much for joining us and being patient with us during the break. Don VIALOUX from EquityClock.com and TimingTheMarket.ca. Have a great weekend, Don. We'll talk to you next week. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
As always, we try to get Henry Weingarten on the phone for this segment. So as soon as Henry is available, we will bring him on board. I'm really proud of Henry. He had a big story in Bloomberg Business Week this week, and it's a big highlight about what he does and his experience in the market for several decades. And the reporter actually quoted early in the article that Neil Cavuto, as you know, he's on Fox News, formerly from CNBC many years ago. He said of Henry, he's one of the best stock pickers I know. But Henry runs these symposiums over at the Princeton Club, which I've attended a few times in New York City. And he's talking about individual companies and stocks. But, his background has been, not only astrological, fundamental, cyclical, technical, and he puts all the pieces together. So, we always like have Henry on the program. So when we get him on the line, hopefully we will during the segment, we will talk about his current views, his current positions in the markets. And I know he's taking off for Hong Kong in about a week or so, so we only have a short opportunity to speak with him. Meanwhile, the overall markets, as Don just indicated, are in this seasonal negative period, theoretically, between now and October. And let's talk to Henry about that. Henry, good morning. Thank you for being here.
Good morning. Good morning.
Congratulations. We just talked about it on air. You missed my introduction, but the Bloomberg article was fabulous. Congratulations.
It was definitely good. A couple of small things I'd quibble with, but basically it was good. And it was very well researched. I was very impressed.
Yeah, well, I was impressed too, and it's really an honor. I was going to read the whole article if you didn't make it to the microphone this morning, but you're taking off next week for Hong Kong, correct?
No, Hong Kong is October.
Oh, I thought it was coming up. You're going to be away. I'm sorry.
No. It's October. We're up in the country. That's all.
Okay, so let's talk about the market. Still doing well. Dow keeps moving higher, even though we had a little bit of a setback in NASDAQ with the FANG stocks. Where are we?
Okay, well, a couple of things. There's two issues involved. One is we're going to have a small retrenchment, in the September-October timeframe. Whether it happens in August or not, we can't say. But we do have big rallies, especially in the Dow, which is undervalued, relatively speaking, compared to the S&P and NASDAQ. So it depends on your views, if you're a trader or not. Now, we're now fully in range. I mean, the NASDAQ above 7,800, which it was. You have the S&P above 2,800, and you have the Dow now in the 25,500 to 26,000 range. This is an area you can protect or not. It really doesn't matter. If you don't like seeing things ever go down, you should be writing some calls, raising some cash if you're concerned. But despite the fact that premiums are very rich, they're going to be a little higher towards the end of the year. Plus, we do have a major rally coming when Trump declares victory on the trade gap with China, which is coming. So, he's winning with Europe, or he's winning with Mexico. Canada has to fall in line, and at some point the Chinese will come in. Whether it's before or after the midterms, I can't say. So it really doesn't matter. It depends on what you own. Now, you do want to transfer into Mega stocks, Make America Great stocks. Some are not going to do as well. If you're in Facebook, you're not as happy, for example. So you do want to pay attention to what you own, but the question is, will they do better? And Trump is right. I mean, the U.S. economy is going to do better. So
what's an example of a Make America Great stock besides the
a lot of the mid-cap
infrastructure?
A lot of the mid-cap stocks.
Okay.
Basically, ones that primarily get their money from the United States, rather than the big international corporations, which, is a different game. But effectively, the American companies that primarily manufacture and sell to Americans, which are generally the smaller companies and mid-caps.
Okay. I know last year you were big on the cement stocks, and those did really well, like Martin Marietta and so forth. So
yeah. Well, I mean, that's sort of well known. They're going to do well. Basically, you have to remember the economy is going to stay strong in the U.S. If you look at it from a global viewpoint, do you want to be in Europe? Do you want to be in Asia? Do you want to be in the United States?
Henry, thank you for joining us. Henry Weingarten from The Astrologist. We'll talk to you next week.
You got it.
WallStreetRawRadio.com for more information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at WallStreetRaw.com. At WallStreetRaw.com, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth and help you avoid the next big market crash. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of his Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to WallStreetRaw.com and sign up for his free monthly Cannabis Vice News Raw report. While there, go ahead and sign up for his free monthly Gold News Raw report. Both are totally free. No credit card information is required. Sign up today for your free Cannabis Vice News Raw and Gold News Raw reports at WallStreetRaw.com. That's WallStreetRaw.com.
Message and data rates may apply.
Remembering when to change your fridge filter is a hassle. Remembering the right filter is almost impossible. So at Filters Fast, we have some good advice. Forget it. Instead, remember this. Text BEST 55 to 443-443 and check fridge filters off your to-do list forever. Get it all taken care of for a fraction of big box store prices with a Filters Fast brand filter. To see how much you can save, plus get free shipping, text BEST 55 to 443-443. With a huge range of brand name filters available, Filters Fast is America's #1 online filtration company. And you can get a Filters Fast brand filter for a fraction of the price, delivered to your door every time you need it. No need to remember. It's not a matter of if you need a fridge filter. Why not text to get it taken care of? To see how much you can save and and get free shipping, text BEST55 to 443-443. That's BEST 55 to 443-443.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-301-5435. That's 800-301-5435. 800-301-5435.
Hello, this is Dr. Bill Deagle, MD of NutriMedical.com, announcing the breakthrough Red Deer Velvet DR. It delivers the protected building blocks of all organs and tissues, allowing your own stem cells as architects and engineers to regenerate you. Not since fetal life, when aging does not occur, has such an amazing NutriMed been available to help heal you and regenerate you. Anti-aging requires that you correct mineral, activated nutraceutical, and jump the gene defects and poor diet you have to deliver the cellular tools for regeneration. You must remove old damaged cells and replace them with your young healthy cells to wind the biological clock to a younger you. Order your Red Deer Velvet DR now at NutriMedical.com 24/7 or 888-212-8871. That's NutriMedical, N-U-T-R-I, Medical, M-E-D-I-C-A-L.com. Or call our order line 888-212-8871.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw. Want to know more about Wall Street Raw and the Leibovit VR newsletters? Go to wallstreetrawradio.com.
Welcome back, my good friend Sinclair No from KPN 1510 Phoenix and author of what I call the incomparable blog, EatTheBankers.com. Sinclair, thank you again for joining us on this Saturday morning here in Phoenix.
Well, always my pleasure. Thank you, Mark.
Well, despite the heat, we're still pushing forward. It really has been incredible the past few days. Those listening around the country don't know what we're experiencing out here, but I believe 117 the other day, right?
Oh, I talk with folks back on the East Coast, New York and Washington and so forth, and they're like, how do you survive out there?
Uh-huh.
And the answer is air conditioning.
When I lived in Chicago years ago with 80 below wind chill, they asked me the same question, and it was known as heat.
Yeah, heat.
Stay in the car.
It's the same basic idea in reverse, but it's true. Literally, if we didn't have air conditioning out here, we would not have the fifth largest city in the country.
Right, and it always worries me, just as a sidelight, what if there's a brownout or something, God forbid?
Oh.
I mean, we'd lose people left and right out here.
That's plan B, the swimming pool.
Yeah. And there are a lot of swimming pools in Arizona, that's for sure. So this week we had a lot of interesting things unfold in the markets. One of the hottest stocks out there, probably one of the best performers, Facebook, took a nosedive on some news.
Oh.
Tell me what your thoughts are there. I mean, on a technical basis, we talked off air. It filled a gap.
Going back to April.
April, yeah, a technical gap on the chart. So sometimes these things work. That's like hocus pocus, and this time it filled it. But on a fundamental basis, what happened?
On a fundamental basis, they missed on their earnings report. I mean, that's the long and short of it in quick order. They reported Wednesday after the closing bell, weaker than expected revenue for the second quarter, disappointing global daily active users. That's a big metric for Facebook. How many people are actually using Facebook each and every day. Company also said that they expect revenue growth to be slow for the second half of the year. They have seen some fallout from the Cambridge Analytica scandal, where they allowed Cambridge Analytica to come in and harvest personal data from users. They actually saw a decline in active daily users in the European Union. They saw just real weakness in that metric. And I think a lot of it has to do with this scandal, the concern about Facebook selling off or allowing the data to be sold off in some form or another, not protecting people's privacy, plain and simple. And this is a huge problem. It's not just Facebook by any means.
Right, Twitter has a problem, too.
Twitter has a problem. Facebook has more problems above and beyond Cambridge Analytica. I think if you were to dig into it, you would find that it's a rampant problem with pretty much everybody. Everybody is selling data these days. Everybody's relying on data these days. I talked with a good friend from back east. He is a venture capitalist and also does some writing, writes for Forbes.com. And he was telling me that he had run across some folks recently who were trying to deal with the idea of credit card companies, MasterCard, American Express, and so forth, selling off your transaction data to hedge funds. They say that roughly 30% of all transactions, the data is sold off to hedge funds within a 30-minute time frame, almost real time.
Wow.
And supposedly that's all anonymous, but if some smart hedge fund quants wanted to go in and dig through the data, he's saying, I bet they could probably figure out what exactly is going on. And it's not that anonymous to begin with, and it could be de-anonymized with a little bit of research for it. And his question is, why do we allow this to happen?
We've been compromising our privacy for a long time, Sinclair. You know, this is just another step along that down road to oblivion, you know.
Well, quite frankly, if you get a credit card these days, you have to essentially sign off on allowing them to sell that data. And that's the backward approach to it. We should be able to have a default position of opting out of that and protecting our privacy, and only through an opt-in procedure where we have transparency and knowledge that we are allowing them to do this of our own free will. If you want to use it, yeah, go ahead. I grant you that permission, but I do it on my terms, not that I have to do it to use your service. That's wrong, I think. I think it's a big problem. I think it's going to be an ongoing problem. And this is something that the European Union has been involved in recently. So it's one of the reasons why we're going to see more privacy issues coming up from the EU rather than from the United States. They're the ones who are saying you've got to give people their privacy.
First step there. Maybe we'll spill over here. We certainly need it.
I think so.
But the break in Facebook, going back to the basis for this conversation, really impacted the NASDAQ this past week.
Oh, yeah.
Underperformed compared to the Dow, which continued to move higher to new relative highs, which I thought was a little surprising.
So the NASDAQ had been at record highs.
Right. But nice shakeout there.
Boy, big shakeout. You hit record highs, and all of a sudden Facebook crashes. 19% in one day. That's almost bear market territory in a day.
Correct.
$100 billion in market capitalization just wiped out. That's never happened before.
Well, the problem is we've had 3 or 4 big names really moving the NASDAQ.
This is the problem.
Right. I mean, it's not a stock market, it's a market of stocks, and the NASDAQ, if you just, on your one hand, you can name the names that have been moving the NASDAQ.
Yeah, and we've got the acronym for them, FANG.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't get much more simple than that.
And a
right?
fang could bite the wrong way, too.
Whoa. It turned around and bit some people on Thursday, let me tell you.
It's funny they come up with those names, right? They don't think of it in the negative. They think in terms of the positive, but it became a negative this week, sure.
Oh, it really did. And you're right, though. Just a few names, and maybe just a little bit more than Fang. You could probably add Microsoft in there.
Apple was pulling back, too.
Apple has started to pull back a bit, yeah.
Right.
But
it seems like that's the only place people wanted to be, only those stocks. They created an ETF, I think, just tracking those FANG stocks.
Well, you look at Netflix, for example. That's another one that fell back in earnings reporting season a week or so ago now. Netflix had a big drop, but at the same time, Netflix was up over 100% year to date.
Mm-hmm.
So do you miss out on that kind of a ride? I mean, where are you going to find something quite as comparable as the FANGs over the past couple of years?
You're not going to.
So everybody piled in.
Right.
And trade got very, very crowded.
Right. And we don't know if this is the beginning of a warning sign. We are running to a seasonal negative period. We'll talk a little bit more about that after the break. We're with Sinclair No from KFNN 1510 Phoenix and author of the great blog, EatTheBankers.com. We'll be back after the break.
Listening to Wall Street Raw with Mark Leibovit. Go to wallstreetrawradio.com for information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at wallstreetraw.com. Here, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth and help you avoid the next big market tsunami. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of his Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to wallstreetraw.com and sign up for his free monthly Cannabis Vice News Raw report. While there, go ahead and sign up for his free monthly Gold News Raw report. Both are totally free. No credit card information is required, and no one will call. Sign up today for your free Cannabis Vice News Raw report and Gold News Raw report at wallstreetraw.com.
Normal blood pressure, naturally. How would that make you feel?
I'm Don from New Mexico. January of 2000, I had a heart attack. Then my real health began going downhill. I had high blood pressure, diabetes, poor vision. I wasn't sleeping well. I was a mess.
Don reports dramatic improvements with Heart and Body Extract.
I started taking Heart and Body Extract. From within a few days, I started sleeping better. My blood pressure normalized. My diabetes normalized. My sleep improved.
Experience these benefits and more when your body heals itself with the assistance of Heart and Body Extract. Order at hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305. That's hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305.
And folks, I did not expect this at all. By the 7th, 8th, and 9th day, I saw dramatic improvements from taking Heart and Body Extract.
Heart and Body Extract comes with a 100% ironclad money-back guarantee. Details at hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305 for Heart and Body Extract.
Bacon lovers, we ship free. Try our amazing bacon. No refrigeration required. Proprietary value-added packaging provides 10-year shelf life and protects the leanest, thickest, center-cut, fully cooked bacon in America today. Ready to eat right from the pouch or warm and serve. Savory and delicious. Wholesale price for your everyday use. Order today at ReadyToEatBacon.com. ReadyToEatBacon.com.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
Hi, I'm Dan Pilla. I started fighting the IRS over 40 years ago when they tried to seize my mother's house. I sued the IRS and won. I beat the IRS then, and I've been beating them ever since. I wrote the book on tax debt settlement, and I've helped thousands of people deal with tax problems they thought might never be solved. I can help you too. If you owe taxes you can't pay, don't wait another day. There's no such thing as a hopeless tax case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX or go to my website, danpilla.com. That's danpilla.com, danpilla.com.
Thank you for listening to GCN. Be sure to visit GCNlive.com today.
Responsibility begins and ends with our partners and our shareholders, and that's it.
There is no freedom without the law.
Get it? Got it? Good.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw and the final segment with Mark Leibovit. Now, here's the elf himself.
Welcome back, Sinclair No from KFNN 1510 and the author of EatTheBankers.com. Sinclair, we were talking before the break about Facebook and the FANG stocks. Mm-hmm. You know, how NASDAQ plunged a little bit this past week, but we saw some relative strength elsewhere. But we are, at least in my work, entering a seasonally negative period that usually starts after the earnings reporting season in July and runs into September, October.
Yeah, that's right.
And I'm just sort of wondering, is this, the canary in the coal mine, so to speak, with the Facebook break and the little weakness we saw in some of the other FANG stocks?
Well, look, this second quarter earnings reporting season was supposed to be just terrific. Supposed to be better than anything, better than sliced bread. I mean, We're looking at 21% earnings growth. Phenomenal. You're looking at the first two quarters, quarter one earnings season, quarter two earnings season, absolutely off the charts. You can't get much better. But what has happened in the broader market in the S&P 500 over that time, you're looking at less than 5% return with those kind of numbers, juiced up by the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, which isn't going to be replicated next year in the first and second quarter. Mm-hmm. So then you start saying, well, if that's as good as we can get out of it, maybe we've kind of run our course. How much more is there? And you're looking at the second half of the year and saying, well, the second half's not going to be as good as the first half, is it?
No.
Probably not.
And we got some political uncertainty moving forward.
Oh, more than a little bit. Yeah, I mean, this whole thing with trade wars and tariffs and devolving into currency wars has the real potential to knock down the stock market in a heartbeat, or, as we saw this week, give it a sweet little pop.
Right. We had good news, coming out of Europe with Donald Trump's negotiations with the European Commission there. Many were surprised that concessions were even given.
Yeah. But Jean-Claude Juncker came to the White House middle of the week, and next thing you know, they're sitting there and saying, we think we have a deal here.
Great.
Details, not much yet. but at least they're saying we're aiming for zero tariffs between the European Union and the United States.
This is fabulous. This is a level playing field, almost a fantasy theory that many laughed at.
Well, we're not there yet.
And worldwide, we're not going to get it. China's not going to cooperate, for example.
And China could still be a big problem when it comes to trade wars and currency wars as well. China seems more than... China doesn't have the same level of trade that we have with them. In other words, they can't really play that game fully. We can put tariffs on about $500 billion worth of Chinese goods coming into the United States. They can only put, and I'm probably going to miss this figure, but it's somewhere in the neighborhood of, I think, 140 billion going into China. So, yeah, they could put tariffs on that, but then they'll never quite match us because it's 500 billion to 140-ish or so billion. But what they can do is they can devalue the yuan. And they did a little bit of that this week. And, China could still be enough to send the stock market here over the cliff in a heartbeat. That, plus we've got this situation where we've seen about as good as we can get from earnings, and we've seen it, the market concentrated on just a handful or so of stocks to begin with.
Yeah, like the FANGs.
The FANGs.
Yeah.
Yeah, FANGs maybe throwing a Boeing here and an NVIDIA there.
And Boeing was a surprise, too, this past week, too.
Yeah, there you go.
There's a Dow name. Yep.
You got to start watching out when you start seeing weakness like this. The other two companies that lost almost as much market capitalization in one day, you got to go back to Intel, once lost $90 billion in one day. Microsoft lost $80 billion in market cap in one day, but you're going back to 2000. And we know what happened in 2000. The dot-com bubble burst.
Right.
The FANG bubble could burst. The trade wars could be a part of it. They don't really affect the tech stocks so much, trade wars, but it's enough to see a global slowdown. I would be a bit worried at this point in the marketplace.
Jumping over to the Federal Reserve, we don't want to bypass them. We always want to talk about them a little bit, don't we, Sinclair? We got a couple minutes here. A couple interesting things. First, Jerome Powell questioned the members of the House Congressional Committee this past week, saying that rising world protectionism would pose some risk to the U.S. and global expansion. And at the same time that happened, Trump attacked the Federal Reserve, tweeting the United States should not be penalized because we're doing so well, so don't raise interest rates on me when things are doing good. Some interesting controversy there with the Fed, right?
Yeah, actually Trump, 2 days running, was saying don't raise interest rates.
Yeah.
Now the Fed's supposed to be independent.
Right.
That's the idea, that they can set monetary policy without politics interfering in that process. You've got, back in Washington, you've got a tremendous amount of fiscal stimulus that's hitting the economy in the form of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act that was enacted at the start of the year. And then to imagine that that's not going to create a little bit of inflation that the Federal Reserve is going to have to respond to, particularly at a time when we are more or less at full employment. I don't think we're there yet. I think there's still quite a bit of slack left in the labor market. But clearly at 4%, or we've been under 4% unemployment rate for a while now, you've got to say we're somewhat close.
Right.
Federal Reserve has to respond to that.
Right. Their goal is full employment, right?
Their goal is maximum employment and price stability. Those are the two mandates. So then you've got Trump standing in and saying, don't raise interest rates. Well, now for them to do their job, they almost have to follow that path that they've laid out of raising interest rates at least 2 more times this year. Otherwise, they'll have caved to Trump, and nobody will believe them and their ability to maintain price stability without political interference.
When's the next meeting, Sinclair? Remind me.
Next meeting's coming up in a couple of weeks, I believe.
Okay, so in August. So we have time for 2 more rate hikes.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's September,
and then I think next one's December.
So September and December would be the next time for the next two, and that's when we expect them to happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we shall see.
September, and if things don't fall apart, then we'll see another one in December. But, we've seen efforts to try and sway Federal Reserve in the past, and it didn't work. It didn't work when Nixon did it. It didn't work. It just never works.
Well, it seems the Fed's on this target to continue to raise rates. We talked about this in a previous broadcast. The rumor out there is because of the pending pension crisis we have in this country, too, which is real.
That's part of it.
That's part of it. And we need to get rates up a little bit.
And we need to get rates back to normal. They've got to put some powder back in their horn.
Sinclair, it's been a pleasure having you again on the show. Thanks for taking time on the Saturday for 2 segments with us. Sinclair No, KFNN 1510 Phoenix, and author of the incomparable blog, EatTheBankers.com. Thank you again. We'll talk to you next Saturday.
Thank you.
And folks, we close our show this week, as we always do, with what Ed Hart used to say on the old Financial News Network. And we say, as he said, we will know in the fullness of time. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for listening to Wall Street Raw with nationally recognized market timer and previous Wall Street Week Elf, Mark Leibovit. If you missed any of today's show or to get in touch with Mark, please go to wallstreetrawradio.com. Any stocks or investment discussed on Wall Street Raw are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. We first recommend you seek out a licensed financial professional for advice. Go to wallstreetrawradio.com for more information on Mark's newsletters and products.
Thank you for listening to GCN. Be sure to visit GCNlive.com today.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week Elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at wallstreetraw.com. At wallstreetraw.com, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth and help you avoid the next big market crash. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of his Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to wallstreetraw.com and sign up for his free monthly Cannabis Vice News Raw report. While there, go ahead and sign up for his free monthly Gold News Raw report. Both are totally free. No credit card information is required. Sign up today for your free Cannabis Vice News Raw and Gold News Raw reports at wallstreetraw.com. That's wallstreetraw.com.
Tired of being censored by Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Patreon? Well, now you don't have to be. OneWay.com is the free speech and human-friendly social network built just for you. Stop feeding the beast. Every post you make on those evil, anti-human, anti-American perverted sites helps them destroy our families, our country, and our souls. Join One Way today and take back your liberty. Your free speech alternative is waiting for you at OneWay.com. OneWay.com.
It's a no-brainer. A Big Berkey water filter is the one you need, period. You need a water filter that removes chlorine, fluoride, pharmaceuticals, BPA, and other endocrine disruptors, pesticides, bacteria, viruses, and much more, right? And does it all at only 2 cents per gallon. Get the original and most trusted name in gravity water filtration, Big Berkey. And now GCN listeners receive 5% off ceramic filter systems using code GCN. Call or click 1-877-99-BERKEY or BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY.